I'm Myke Shrews.
And I'm Tivis.
And you're listening to
the Munster Cast,
episode 100, part 12. Welcome back, everybody, to the Munster Cast, the podcast where we watch and talk about the Munsters and Munsters adjacent. I'm, of course, your host, Myke Shrews, here with my co-host and friend, Tivis. So, Tivis, please tell everybody in the Munsterverse, how you been, dude?
I'm doing great, dude. We are officially in our third year.
Third year. Nice. Nice. Well, congratulations for sticking around this long with me.
You made it through the terrible twos.
Yeah, guys, we appreciate you all. I hope you guys all enjoyed episode 100 part 1 where we had Austin on. Thank you again, Austin, for showing up for us and talking with us about it. Guys, today I know we led into it with the ending of last week's episode, but we have another special guest with us this week. Again, is cousin Frank. Frank has been with us before. He was on our second year anniversary episode. And he's a great guy. We hope you guys enjoyed the conversation that we had. But before we get into that, the dirty business. You can find the Munster Cast on all social media platforms that are going to show up on the screen soon. That is Facebook and Instagram and sometimes Twitter via a bot, guys, all at the Munster Cast. You can also see our pretty ugly faces every Munster Monday, and any other time we decide to post some random video. You can go over to youtube.com/@TheMunsterCast. That's youtube.com/@TheMunsterCast. That not Munsters, Munster Cast. You can also swing on over, guys, to TheMunsterCast.com. That's TheMunsterCast.com. And check out all of our content in one spot there, guys. That is video, vlogs, blogs, blah, blah, blah. You get the spiel. We do it every week. Come on now. Get with it. When you're over there, you can click the right-hand side of the screen, click the little microphone icon, and get a voice message sent directly to us. Whether you like us, whether you love us, we don't care. We want to hear from you. Let us know, guys, and we will play it on the episode that is following after we receive it, of course. You can also click the shop tab or just go to TheMunsterCast.com/merch and get one of our awesome Munster shirts that neither of us are wearing right now, unfortunately. But you can go over there. All these shirts have been made specifically for you guys out there, not just Munster Cast fans, but Munster fans alike. So they've been curated just for you guys. So check them out. Grab them while you can. So definitely do that. And always remember, go to TheMunsterCast.com/merch. That always takes you to our legitimate site that we use for our products, guys. We have some issues out there in the past.
Does it go there? Let us know ASAP, because we've had a store just disappear overnight.
Yes, we have. So definitely take advantage of that, guys. And then you can also contact us through email. That is TheMunsterCast@outlook.com. There you can hit us up with any of your Munster stories, your Munster fan ideas, all that fun stuff. Just send us whatever you guys want, as long as it's, Munster related or the podcast related, or if you want to try and show up on the show, guys. So that is the TheMunsterCast@outlook.com, and both me and Tivis do receive those, guys. Real quick, Tivis, do this one.
We have a Patreon, which, quite honestly, this show could not be how it is without your help, and we appreciate each and every one of you. And if you guys could help us out some more, we got some cons and stuff. We would love to take the show to talk to some people. We can only do that with your support. So please,
definitely
help us out. But more importantly than that, reviews, telling people about us, word of mouth, all that stuff helps the show grow. And we love reading your reviews. As Myke said, you can leave it directly on our website or on your podcatcher of choice, which gets us higher in the listings. And if you leave it on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that stuff, that helps boost us on there as well. So thank you to everyone who has done that. And for those who haven't, we look forward to hearing what you had to say.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, guys. We appreciate each and every one of you. Again, celebrating episode 100 is freaking awesome. And
3
we couldn't
years.
have, and in 3 years, we couldn't have been here without all you guys tuning in every Munster Monday and checking it out, whether it's via podcast or YouTube, no matter what, and posting with us on social media. So we really appreciate that. So before we dive into this, we're going to do a real quick synopsis time. It's synopsis time. All right, guys, real quick here. It's synopsis time. On this episode of the Munster Cast, Myke and Tivis are tossed into a whirlwind of Munster's insight when the mysterious cousin Frank stops by for a riveting conversation and mind-blowing antics. Will Tivis be shocked back to the DOS age at the findings of a lost game? Will Myke scour the internet for fan-made projects? Will cousin Frank break his NDAs? Will Myke and Tivis take a workcation to the Scottish territory, becoming the only American podcast Highlanders? There can be only one. Will cousin Frank show why he is gifted the title superfan of the Munsters and Munster Cast alike? Will the trio go so far down the rabbit hole of side quest talks that every animal will be adopted? Will cousin Frank show off relics of the past, exploding the podcast into Babylonian proportions, excreting both wonder and worry? Will the Munster Cast fans clamor for joy at this wonderful conversion of words? Will the trio tackle world peace or just the hunger of Maryland's succubus ways? And will chaos ensue? Find out this week on the Munster Cast episode 100 part 2 celebration. Yeah. All right, welcome everybody to another episode 100 part 2. I am, of course, Myke Shrews, here with my co-host and friend Tivis, and we have a special guest returning today, cousin Frank.
How Hello, doing, everybody. Buddy? I'm not too bad. I'm really happy that we get to celebrate 100 episodes together so that I'm not just catching the episode. I'm actually here to celebrate and say well done to you guys because the show is awesome. Yep, here's to another 100. Yeah.
We got a message recently, which was on part 1. That guy was like, "Here's to another 100. We don't know if you're gonna make it to 100." It was from Kenny Lovejoy. He messages us all the time on Instagram and stuff, and he's an awesome guy. And we're kind of just like, yeah, we'll make it work to another 100. I'm sure we'll be able to squeeze another 100 out of here for sure.
You could review episodes of you reviewing the Munsters and review the changes throughout the years.
Yeah. Hey guys, real quick, we wanted to jump on into here and let you guys know we got another voice message from an awesome fan out there who is Modern Maryland Munster. I believe she goes by that on Twitter, but we know her also through Instagram. She has been sending us messages. What do you say, Tivis? Like
since the beginning, pretty much.
Yeah, since the beginning. And she's been staying in contact. So she sent us an awesome little message, and we thought we'd drop it in right here, guys. So just take a listen, guys.
Hi, guys. It's Modern Maryland Munster. I love the podcast. You're helping to keep the fandom alive. I was also wondering what your thoughts on the James Wan series are. I know you had an episode on it, but I was wondering, what do you think he'll do, and who do you think he might cast? I just don't see enough people talking about it.
Awesome. Well, Maryland.
Yeah. Agreed.
Modern Maryland Munster, we totally agree. And Frank agreed also. So we actually have a partial answer for you right here. But we are also going to answer more in depth of our fan casting, right, Tivis?
Yes.
When is that going to be? The finale?
Yes. When we take our break after once we finish the Munsters Today season 2, we're going to be doing a Halloween episode, and we'll be talking about it on that.
Awesome. So right, hopefully we'll get to it. So Modern Maryland, we hope you enjoy the conversation that's about to take place with Frank. All right, let's get back to it.
You know, we do have that new show coming out, which leads me
potentially,
yes. My first question is, what are your thoughts?
Oh, now I'm very skeptical, only because way back when I'd heard about the Wayans brothers doing the Munsters, the reboot. I think it was meant to be, was it Brooklyn or something like that? Then there was the cartoon version that was going to be happening, which I did see a little bit of a script for, which was pretty good, but nothing came of them. And then Rob Zombie's Munsters obviously came out. That happened. Fantastic. We need more of the projects to have the fans back. And I think the more we get excited about it, the more Universal will take it seriously and make sure the money lands in the pots of the producers, they get the development, and that it happens. There's been so many Munsters projects we've not had. Same as Beetlejuice. So many versions of that didn't happen, but look, hey, it did happen. We've now got Beetlejuice. Yeah. So here's hoping this one comes through. If it does, I'll be watching it. I will watch anything Munsters. I'm not going to love one and hate the other. I love them all equally because I love the characters, I love the premise, if it's done in the right way, if it's done with the same care and attention. Interested to find out who they would cast in it, who would be the main characters. Would it be the Munsters we know and love? Would they be doing something very different? Time will tell.
Yeah, that's what we're wondering. Is this going to be another Mockingbird Lane?
Yeah. Well, I think too, like Universal might be watching out for like seeing what people liked from Rob's and seeing what they can potentially take the goofiness aspect potentially of it and bring it into like a, unfortunately, I have to say, darker kind of context. Which would I don't necessarily hate it if it's done properly. But I also don't want to see, because the Munsters, like we're watching the Munsters today, but after watching the original and all the movies and everything, the Munsters is very a family friendly show. It's not developed how like the Addams Family was, where it had a lot more darker undertones than anything. The Munsters had like random jokes. Grandpa was always talking about like buried bodies and stuff like that, but it was always done with like a laugh track. When the Addams Family would do something like that, there wasn't a laugh track. It was like, no, we're dead serious. There's dead people in our yard right now. Yeah. Like we literally kill people. Yeah. And this is where the Addams fortune comes from.
One of the things we did talk about with Mosier in part 1 is, or specifically I talked about, is how much I think a cartoon of the Munsters would work so well. And why can't they just do it?
Yeah. And we brought up too, and I'm sure you'll go back and listen to that part, at least if you don't like hearing your own voice, you won't listen to this part. But if you go back and listen to the first part, we did bring up some other stuff, and we wanted to talk to you about it as well, because it kind of sparked conversation and like bringing up the fact that about the animation, even if Universal doesn't do it, there's got to be fans out there that love this enough to do their own like YouTube or Vimeo or whatever versions of like a online series of the Munsters, just like a fan project. Animation is going to probably be the easiest, especially with the technology we have nowadays. Being able to, I wouldn't say use AI, but use like the stuff that AI brings in for the editing function. Tivis, that's what I'm talking about.
Tools.
Yes, the tool part, not like the actual art part of it. Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned the Munsters and other media like animation, because way back in 2004, before I was a professional filmmaker, I used to do claymation and, like sort of Aardman animation style. So I'd done a pilot, which I'm hoping to get a copy of again, of a Munsters episode. It was 6 minutes. And it was the Munsters, in a cartoon setting. So it was quite slapstick, and it had a lot of the original humour, but some of the more grown-up aspects of the Munsters today. So I'd done that, just a 6-minute pilot, and it actually got to the attention of Universal, who liked it. They didn't take it forward in the end because it was the cost at the time that was going to be something that would be a drawback. And also, round about the same time, someone else had come in to develop a Munsters TV series. I don't know if that's the one that eventually became the Wayans brothers version, but so there was conflict at the time, and it never got past that original pilot. Then I kind of got into filmmaking. I'd done a couple of horror films after that, and now I'm a professional filmmaker. So that was way at the beginning of my career. But again, something I grew up with. I grew up with the Munsters today. I'll see if I can find a copy of it, because I'm sure I must have it on tape somewhere. Convert it, and I can give you guys, have a look. please don't judge, because it was very early in my career. It
Yeah.
was my sister and my friends doing the voices of it, but I think it had the aspects of what would make a very good Munsters show.
Yeah, and that's something like we were talking about, and we wanted to bring up with you more in depth, because you know a lot more of the Munster culture or society,
Community.
like fan community. Yeah. Culture, community. We all live in a society, you know, type thing. So it's you know, bringing up like fan made kind of content like that, stuff that people have, and we want to be able to, like I said when we first started with the 100 episode to go to 200, we want to be able to have more content to watch and talk about, so all Munster fans out there can hear about it, not just, you know, whoever gets their hands on that one piece of history or fan film or fan story, fanfic, you know, especially with the animated stuff or live action stuff. It's cool to be able to share that before those artists, but also for the writers out there who are potentially writing fanfic for the Munster universe. And, you know, if people start talking about it and people are like, dude, I really like that story that this podcast talked about, why are these people not writing the show that's coming out? Or why are these people not doing the movie? Or why is there not a video game for the Munsters? I mean, granted, there was a video game for the Munsters. It's a horrible game, but it's fun.
It's awful. I've got
this is news to me. I know the 2 board games, but not the video game.
Yeah, it's like a computer PC game, right?
Yeah, well, no, this is the 80s. I think it was the Commodore. So this
the
is
Commodore.
Like
Yeah.
So, and it was Marilyn had been kidnapped, and you had to kind of save her. But there was a different US version to the UK version. The UK version, from what I've seen, has more Munsters Today attire for Marilyn. She's got the denim and the pink t-shirt on and things like that. So that was a lot more Today, because Today was really popular in the UK at the time. Right. But yeah, I think that's the only game I'm aware of. I know the Munsters unofficially popped up in some games, like the likeness of the Munsters or Frankenstein and Dracula and the Wolfman. So yeah, we'd love to see more games. Any games developers out there, get in touch with Myke and Tivis and get your heads together and do some sort of unofficial game.
So there
which
was
then hopefully can become unofficial.
It was a MS-DOS game here for 1993 that they did, and there's like video gameplay of this game on like YouTube, because there's some websites out there that you can go and play it on and everything. And I've actually talked to a video game developer buddy of mine. I'm like, what's the legality of, like, you know, potentially getting this to play on like PlayStation or Xbox, and, you know, just putting it out there for people to download? And he's like, you might want to check with who owns the rights, and so, you know, all that fun shit. But I'm kind of just like, you know, yeah, but the platforms it was for, it says here it was Commodore 64, DOS, MSX, ZX Spectrum, Atari ST, the Amstrad CPC, and the Amiga OS. So a lot of
the Amiga.
Yeah. Very back old systems. You know, it was an initial release in 1988. So yeah. But it's a very side-scrolly. It reminds me of, if anyone out there or any of you guys played Home Alone on Sega Genesis. It reminds me a lot of that, like with the graphics and everything too. And I love that game, by the way. That was a crazy ass game. But yeah, there you go, Tivis. A little information. I guess I thought I shared that information with you before about the game.
No, I had no idea.
Oh. Yeah, I've literally been talking to game developer buddy of mine about it. I've been like, so is there a way I can make this so I can, because I don't like playing games on the PC or whatever. I'm a Mac guy anyways, but I can still play them on the Mac. But I don't really like playing games on the computer as much unless
it's real
like,
PC.
No. That reminds me, I sent you guys
I get to wear jeans and you get to wear freaking cargo pants. So, you know, I get to wear a t-shirt and you get to wear a button-up shirt. You remember those old Mac versus PC commercials? Did you guys have those in there in the UK? Yeah,
we did. More people here seem to have adopted PC for home, and Mac was more sort of at work PC kind of thing. It's
and that's
still
what
a bit like that.
Yeah, and that's what I use mine all for. Is all editing and works related stuff. It's like it's just so much. It's a better processor for video editing, audio editing, all that fun stuff.
100%. But
yeah.
Getting back to early work, do you know, Frank, Mike is trying to get me to do some kind of audio play with the Munsters currently.
Wow.
Audio drama.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, I've fished around, like I've tossed around the idea of potentially, if it's something that is going to bring more longevity to this podcast and give more content out there for Munsters, to get people to write in storylines and then we'd act them out as an audio drama, be kind of cool. And then maybe like find some of my animated friends who can do like, that cheap animation kind of stuff, like, like a South Park kind of thing, where it's like, here's the audio, do a quick animation to it, and then drop that on YouTube. It'd be kind of fun. But those are
anything I can do to help.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those are the things that we toss around, and I guess we've never really talked about them on the show because we never do open conversation like this a whole lot on here, except for when we do have guests. So, but if people are interested in that, I'd like people to, message us, let us know what you think of those ideas, or if you'd even be interested in being a voice actor too, because everything can be done remotely now. With that, I know like professional voice actors that do like anime and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, I just record it in my home office. I don't even walk in a booth or anything. So I'm like, that's professionally done for a TV show. So
the audio drama company I buy from in the UK, Big Finish, most of their stuff is done at home now since 2020. Like I think they even may have closed one of their buildings that had a lot of their booths in because they just don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
The same here in Glasgow. Yeah, we're the same. We do a lot of audio podcast stories for children's books, and my camera's decided it's going to zoom out. Sorry about that. There we go. Very dramatic moment. But we do children's audio books, and the cassette and book stories you used to get back in the day. So we do digital versions of that. We all do that from home now. So and all the production is done from home. So I'm very rarely in the studio. We do have the studio still. Luckily, we've not closed the doors yet, but it is in a world where now you can do things from home, and fans can be part of the project with that as well, because you don't need the big flashy tools all the time to get someone involved. They can sit and record it on their phone, send it in, you can clean it up at home. So yeah, it's a great idea. There are a good couple of that I remember from back in the day of Yahoo groups when that was a thing. Those old enough to remember Yahoo groups, you could just kind of email and reply to threads, and that would come to your email box, your Yahoo. So we had a very early one in 2002 for the Munsters today, and people would record little clips of them doing little impressions of Grandpa, Herman, Lily. Yeah. And they were really, really good. And a lot of those guys are still in the community today. Sure, they would love to give it a try. And, there was one guy in particular, he dressed up, I think his name was something Cheney. He dressed up as Grandpa and Herman and actually filmed it. And I'm sure it's still on YouTube out there. And the makeup was the best makeup I've seen for Herman Munster outside of the original 1966 movie. Yeah. But it was incredible. And he even had the backgrounds in the lab. And this was done in the early 2000s. Okay. It's really impressive. I'll try and find it. I've got all this stuff in a hard drive somewhere, including all the old fan fiction that fans used to post. Some of it's not suitable for work, let's just say. They had a lot of Herman and Lily stories that seemed to be the most popular with the community. Because at one point I was like, ain't this weird? Is this really the community I want to be part of? And some of the family-friendly stuff we had to put in a separate category. But I've been using the Wayback Machine to archive a lot of this, because the internet started to delete itself now because we've got the dead internet coming to us. So a lot of pages are disappearing. So I'm trying to archive as many as I can. I'll find as much as I can. And I'm sure there's video clips there as well of little fan fiction things, videos. That's where I found the Munsters advert for, I think it was home insurance on that little hard drive. That was on there that I put on the group. And there's one that I still need to find. If anyone has it, please write in and tell Myke and Tivis. It was Dove who teamed up with Desperate Housewives at the time. So I think this is maybe 2008, 2009. And the cast of Desperate Housewives gets sucked into episodes of Bewitched and the Munsters. and they actually interacted with all the actors on the set using body doubles and clever angles and green screen. But I've not been able to find it. It was removed from YouTube such a long time ago. I wish I'd ripped it back in the day because there was like 8 episodes. It was webisodes at the time because that was the popular thing.
Right.
And it was Felicity Huffman, I believe, was the main star of the Munsters one. She woke up and Herman and Lily were prodding her, going, "What are you doing on our sofa? Who are you? Why do you look so strange?"
Yeah.
And somehow they wangled in Dove body wash to the storyline.
That's amazing considering that's the last thing the original house was in.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, we've been tossing around the ideas of just if we can't get fans out there to like submit stuff to us to try and find a way to have something, especially if this James Wan show does not go through or anything like that. What if that doesn't go through? I don't know. It's just gonna. I feel if it doesn't happen, the Munsters is gonna end up in like limbo for the next like 20 years again.
Well, hopefully they included in their Munsters universe theme park they're building. Like, it's insane to me that we haven't seen any.
What? Sorry.
Oh,
what?
You didn't know that?
No. What? Tell me.
In the Florida Orlando Universal Studios, they are building a new extension that is themed around the Munsters universe. It's actually the revived Dark Universe is what they're calling it.
Wow.
The monster one, like the Universal Monsters. Yeah. But yeah, if they don't do like
some kind of reference
or something to the Munsters, it would be ridiculous. Like, and it's interesting because before we even started the show, like I have photos. It was like right when COVID kind of happened. Being in Florida, not many places were shut down, I'll be honest. So we were still able to go out, just put your face mask on or whatever in the store to be courteous and everything. But we went to the Wax Museum, and there's one in, I think it was in St. Augustine, Florida, one of like the oldest city in the country or something. They want to consider it, or settlement. I don't remember what they say, but it's like one of the oldest things in the country. St. Augustine, Florida, and they have a sweet wax museum there. Dude. Like the sculptures and they do are perfect. But there's like a horror room you walk into, and there's like Freddy Krueger and a couple other figures in there. But then they have Herman Munster, and I think I've posted the picture onto Instagram with me and Herman. Like I have my face mask on, but it's like Herman's right there behind me. When I was there doing that, there were so many people who wanted to take a picture with Herman Munster, and they actually knew who he was. And that kind of was like, for me, I was like, I didn't realize this many people knew who the heck the Munsters even were in the younger age groups at all. So it kind of was cool for me to witness that. And that was, like I said, before we even did the show or started doing the show.
You go back with your neck bolts this time.
Yeah. I don't know. I love going to that museum anytime we actually travel that way and go into St. Augustine and stuff like that. So it's a really cool place to go. If you guys ever visit Florida, visit St. Augustine, they have like an old town area, which is basically a huge tourist section. It's all old buildings from the original stuff. It's right by one of the forts there. But go to they have the Wax Museum. There's a place there that has like a torture museum. So, and it's I have yet to go in it because I have my kids. We're always younger whenever we went, but it's supposed to be very graphic. And Tivis is telling me to wind it up.
No, I'm saying you're crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's supposed to be
he's into.
It's supposed to be a very graphic torture museum, so like little kids actually aren't allowed to go in there. They tell you if you take them in there and they see something, they're not liable for it, things like that. I really want to go in there, but I don't want to take my little kid in there, and he's always with me usually. So
before we go too far from the subject, I'm gonna Universal. 2 years ago, you had the Killer Clowns from Outer Space take over. why can't you have the Munsters take over the Halloween themed horror nights at Universal Studios? Come on.
That would be awesome. Do you know, I do have contacts at Universal. I'm going to be telling them this. They have been listening to the show, by the way, guys. I don't know if they've reached out to you yet. They said they will reach out. They have been tuning into the show because I've been saying, listen, if you want to know that there's an audience for the Munsters, tune into the Munster Cast, because this is the best way to show people what's going on.
It's not a cease and desist when they do reach out.
do you know, I wondered a bit because I know on the Discord, is it on the Discord that you can watch the episodes with you guys?
Yeah.
But I know there's legal loopholes to things. The ones from the Internet Archive as well that got taken down, that was because they didn't want too many people seeing the Munsters today, because they are considering a release. They are watching. They are considering it. So if we can push it, I know, come on, guys, you need to do it. We've been waiting so long for this. There's only one release so far, and it's is it the Italian version? I think it was.
Yeah, and it's not even the full show.
Yeah, just a few episodes.
It's just a few episodes, because I ended up buying that at one point before, thinking, oh, this is the freaking thing. I bought it, and I'm like, oh, there's only a couple episodes on it. I was like, well, it still looks cool in the collection up there. So
it does, it does. I've got mine down here. I've got all my Munster DVDs waiting for the new ones to come out, because hopefully there'll be loads more things to come.
I tried to buy it and I got scammed, so I gave up.
Oh, no.
Really? Oh, you never got yours, did you?
No, I still have the email saying confirmation, and I sent them like, "Hey, can I get a refund for this?" Nothing. I'm like, all right.
Oh, right. Okay, guys. Munster Cast fans, let's get together and get a wish list for Myke and Tivis, and we'll put it on their birthday lists. We shall make it happen for you, Tivis. Speaking of presents, actually, I've got some things here that I'm going to send you guys. Oh, Mike's going to get his. I shall go and get mine. Not to make you feel bad, Tivis, because you don't have yours yet.
I got this special number here. So
that's a thing of beauty. Yeah. I do love that.
So that's what I was grabbing. I was like, this is the best box set right now so far. Of the Munsters today. You guys cannot find it. You'll never find it because I am not manufacturing them and getting in trouble. I made it myself. But this is the one that everybody
mine was anonymously gifted to me.
This is a visual thing. I'm sorry for the audio guys out there, but this is a visual thing. This is the one that we were just recently talking about. It's called La Familia Monster Hoy. And it is this right here, the imagery. And then of course it has, this is kind of where I got the design thought for the back of the main box set that I did as well. It's a bunch of images and stuff like that. So yeah. So definitely, if you guys want to, you can check that out. I think they sell this one on Amazon still, right? Is that where
I didn't get it on Amazon?
I think that's where I got mine, was on Amazon. And it
that's
just
what
has,
I get for trusting a third party.
It's 2 DVDs, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes on it. Yeah,
so it's like a volume one.
So definitely check that out, guys. And I keep forgetting I have this box set here because I also have the digitals on my computer that I watch when we are talking about the show. So yeah,
yeah, that's a great movie. We actually were speaking of fan films, we were curious, you know, since you have been so steeped in the community for such a long time. Okay.
Before we dive into that, Tivis, and this is another visual thing. I'm sorry, people, but I need Frank to do this. There was a fan photo that somebody had online that we happened to grab and turn into a shirt for a special someone who is now on the show today. There you go. If you're watching, we made a special shirt.
It's so awesome. Thank you.
For cousin Frank. It's a image of him dressed as Grandpa Munster. And we just, you know, tossed it, made it into like the Munster Cast logo, but with his face on it and everything.
It arrived today. And we recorded this episode today, and I think you posted it like 4 months ago, Mike, something like that.
Yeah, like I ordered it a few months ago, and I'm like, I was literally right before you hopped on here. I was like, I don't want to tell him it's coming because, you know, I don't want to ruin the surprise. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know if he got it because it's not telling me it's delivered. So I was like literally talking to them right as you joined into the conversation today. I was like, where the hell is this shirt at, dude? Like,
now you can tell them it's here.
Yeah. But
yeah,
they were like, oh, you have to contact Royal Mail. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, no.
They don't reply. They don't get back to you. You're fine.
I heard bad things from Royal Mail customer service. So
yeah.
I'm
I
like
mean, Royal Mail, they're okay if you're sending something domestic, but if you're sending something from international, you might get it for your 200th episode anniversary. You sent it on episode 1.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't even contact the U.S. Postal Service because I'm like, I'm just going to walk into the post office and
I could just
like
talk
complain.
to my aunt, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, but now you can continue your question, Tivis. I'm sorry.
Right.
I need to bring that up because it's awesome that it came today too. I really thought
that is very fortuitous. That is awesome.
He's got the joke book he's showing on screen right now.
So, guys, I have 2 copies of these I'm going to send out to you. Managed to source them from a publisher here in the UK. So it's the Munsters joke book. The jokes are awful. Myke, you'll love it. It's one of these books where you read the joke. It takes a little second. In fact, you want to read you one of the jokes.
Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is right. Okay, randomly from page 54. Second joke. What did Grandpa say to his friend as he waved him goodbye?
Oh man!
As he waved him goodbye. It's
been nice knowing you. Insert symbol crash here. That's a good book.
There you go.
And there's also little artwork of like Grandpa as a bat, things like that. Which, Myke, you're right. I was convinced that I had saw this somewhere in the Munster world with Grandpa's head on the bat at some point, but it doesn't exist out there.
Mini Munsters, I believe.
Yeah, Mini Munsters, I believe they did it. Yeah.
Ah, okay, because I was sure that I had seen it, and I know, Myke, you were talking about that before. I mean,
I was like, that would be really fun to have them do. And if, that's pretty cool artwork. I really do think it would be a fun thing to do is if they ever go into a more comedic version again. Well, not comedic, but like a lighthearted version and do a Grandpa as a bat thing again. It would be really cool to see just the head on a bat. We have the technology nowadays. There's no reason it shouldn't be done.
Iconic thing of Grandpa with the bat has to be from the sorority episode. I will never forget that.
I think, is that the one that Bonnie Franklin was in before she directed on Munsters Today? I know she was a guest on the original series.
I know that's the one where they reference Batman.
Yeah.
Grandpa, it was like towards the Batman.
It was towards the end, and they were just like, "Screw it, Batman canceled us. We're gonna freaking do whatever we want."
Well, that was one of the factors. We found out there's a lot of reasons why that shouldn't continue. But,
because people don't like real good stuff.
So this is a signed script by the cast. It's the original pilot episode, still Munsters after all these years. It's the unedited pilot. It's a full 35-minute episode that includes all the lyrics to the original song that they did record for Munsters Today, but then it was broken down to just they went to sleep many years ago, woke up with a new show. So this has got the whole thing in it. And it's also got some more throwbacks to the original series. So I have 2 copies of that coming to you guys as well.
Oh, sweet.
And, but last but not least, the Horror SFX special from Halloween just gone by. They have a 10-page special just on Munsters Today with a lot of pictures that I'd never seen, interviews I'd never seen. There's pictures of them getting their makeup done on
sweet.
The show.
Yeah.
So a lot of the pictures are from Karen Swerling, who I know very well. She's the costume designer on the show. But so 10-page special on Munsters Today and what it meant to UK audiences. And I know you guys are always quite keen to see from the other side of the pond what was happening. So I've got 2 copies of this heading to you guys as well.
Awesome, dude. We really appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Well, I'm all choked up now, but yeah, we wanted to talk to you since we were saying how steeped in the community you are. Like how the fan film type scene. Is your dog snoring? What's going on?
No, not yet. No, not yet. No.
Okay.
Another dog. I have 3 dogs now, and one was just running across the house.
One?
I could hear. A dog came to us. The stray dog came here.
Oh,
and we
you
tried to
kept
get
him?
it back to its owner, and the owners refused to take the dog back. We even because he was chipped and everything. We had him. We took him, and the owners they're like, we're not taking him back, which it is technically illegal in the States. I don't know about in the UK stuff, but in the States it's actually illegal. It's called an abandonment or something like that. So I don't know if the police are doing anything about it, but we've been looking for a home for him for a minute. He's like he's been here for about a month now, a month and a half. So yeah.
My wife said no.
I'm just gonna bring him up there and leave him there for you.
I'm not gonna complain. I want a dog. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say I want a dog too. I've not had a dog in the house now for about a year because I've had dogs all my life, and all my dogs have lived to like 21, 22. So they've been the couple of dogs that I've had have been my entire life now that I'm in my 40s. So it's so strange not having a dog there. It's so bad. I have to put a weighted blanket at the bottom of my bed so that I can sleep, so that I can still feel that little presence there.
I don't know about the rest of the country, but there's a big thing in Florida right now where people are just like putting their dogs on the streets and kind of getting rid of them that way. It's weird. It's a sad thing. Like I'm in a few groups that are trying to like rehome things, but rehome animals, like the shelters don't take them anymore right now because the shelters are way too full, so they don't take them. And now like they're doing really sped up processes of putting the animals down after so long, like after not even very long time anymore, just because there's no space. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things like, and I'll bring it up because like hopefully we have some Florida listeners out there. Go adopt a pet or something, to save these animals. But there's a lot of them that are coming out, and like the one that we end up taking in right now, he's a pit mix. So I think it's a lot of people are getting these animals and thinking, oh, they're gonna be so cute, and then they get bigger, kind of like the whole like, oh, I got a cute little baby alligator, and then it grows up to be a gator. So you're just like, oh, maybe we should flush this down the toilet now or something. Like but
please adopt animals, please. They're great. They can really enrich your life. They can save your life. They can be such a big part of your family.
Well, one of our other dog, one of our other dogs, anyways, she's an adopted pup. We actually drove all the way to a different state and picked her up because we were like, my wife found like this place that did some different stuff in Georgia, and we drove like up there a few hours away. So yeah, picked up that dog. But that's my PSA. Go adopt some dogs, guys.
Well, while we're at the PSA, there's a guy out west, Rocky Kanakas. He does a lot of dog rescue stuff. People like him, amazing. But yes, let's
yeah.
Stop making me feel things.
Let your wife listen to this episode now and be like, see, the dog needs to a house.
She's never gonna listen to these. She gets enough of my voice. But getting back to the main topic at hand, again, you're steeped in the community, and we were curious, what kind of fan projects have you seen out there that you would love to talk about or been a part of, or we talked in the last part about how before Disney bought Star Wars, George Lucas cultivated a large audience for fan films and people out there, and things like that are really great for franchises like this to continue instead of just having people bicker online.
But then there are some studios out there that like to shut down any fan things, kind of like Disney. Paramount. So
they really can be party poopers, but there's always fans that will just not care and just want to do what feels right to them. Because even as a kid, I was making Munsters in Munsters Today fan films when I was 8 years old, and I still have some. If I can find the VHS, I shall give you guys some of the tapes. They're quite funny. Do you know what I found as well? I found the recording of me calling Al Lewis at his restaurant back in the 90s, where we got a £600 phone bill for me calling up and keeping him on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's like
before international
like,
calling.
Oh my God, it was so bad because like I had to wait until the middle of the night, and I was like 10 years old or something. And Al was so funny, but the whole reason I called him was to ask him about Munsters Today. And he was actually really complimentary of Howard, because it turns out 2 nights before that he'd been on a plane with Lee Meriwether, and she was really embarrassed. She was like, Christ, Al's going to hate me because I'm on the new version of the show, and they never asked the original cast, despite obviously it was reported they didn't. So she was like, okay, Al's going to kill me. But they had a really nice chat, and Al was very complimentary about them. He said that Howard made a really great grandpa, almost as good as him. And that's where he ended it. He was like, almost as good as me, but he stopped after that. So I've got that in a cassette tape as well. But fan films and fan projects. I remember in a place called Aberdeen, which is kind of up the kind of top of the country here in Scotland. They built a giant Munster mansion for Halloween at this school. This was about 1993, 1994. So I think it was in a place called Tory. I think it was Tory. I'm trying to get some pictures of it because I know they'd done some newspaper articles at the time, because Munsters Today was still on TV. The original Munsters was still on TV as well. The movies were always on Sky. The Munsters Revenge and here, the 66 movie. So the Munsters was pretty much all around us here. It was in all the magazines. I've got so many magazines from the 90s. It was just such a big part of being a kid in the 90s was the Munsters. And then all of a sudden it just turned and went to the Addams Family when the movie came out, which I think was about 91. So you were either Camp Addams or Camp Munster. I was obviously Camp Munster, so anything Munsters wise I kept the clippings of. But this house was made of like just plywood and gyprock and plaster cast, but it was massive, this big. It was really, really big. It had all the dimensions. It had the door knockers and stuff like that. You could go into the house and you could see the stairs partially lifted and it breathed fire. It wouldn't be allowed today. Just a health and safety nightmare. So that was one of the things that stuck out. And the people at the time from one of the colleges done a fan film at the house after Halloween, and that was put on local TV. They used to do a lot of airings of the Munsters Today on Scottish television during the night. They'd play the reruns, and so a lot of people would send in little clips of them and home videos at the time, like little camcorders, doing little skits from Munsters Today. Those still exist out there as well. I've got some feelers out to local TV stations to try and find them, because they were really funny and really creative. There was people like, it was whole families like getting together, dressing up as the Munsters, making up their own stories. It was like maybe 2 or 3 minutes long, and it was just really fun to see. And it would always peak at Halloween and for some reason at Christmas, even though there was never a dedicated Munsters sort of Christmas thing going on. But those fan projects were really, really well done, and that was way back in the 90s. And then as we come into the 2000s, there was a lot of fan fiction. Like I said, some of it not suitable for work. You probably wouldn't want to read it to your children for bedtime, or read it before you go to bed, actually, because some of it was quite terrifying.
So it was worse than the Marilyn the Succubus story we had?
Yeah, this was... Oh, there was a lot of Grandpa and Lily storylines, I'll say no more.
Yeah.
It was really bizarre.
There is a site I came across at one point that it's made for like fanfic of all genre, like franchises and stuff. And there are several like ones for the Munsters. I just have yet to get the time to sit down and really read those ones. Just because of everything else that we're trying to do. But I don't know. Come on, dog. You're stuck on my headphones. There we go. I just don't know the legality of actually reading those on here, because I don't know. Because it's fanfic, we should be fine, I believe.
Yeah, as long as it's on a public site.
Okay.
Yeah, they put it out there for people to read. So
Right. Yeah. I'll make sure I give them credit if their name is on there for sure. But
well, do you know? I notice a lot of Munster books have things like this. The lady that wrote this book is called Be Warned.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it took me like 12 years before I realised, oh, okay, I get it now. I'm literally Googling trying to find this writer to ask her, does she have any of her original sketches? She didn't exist. It's the same with a lot of the pen names for the writers. But
there's a lot of like unofficially licensed stuff that they did for the Munsters, especially in book form. Like almost every Munsters book I've come across, it's always like an unofficial thing. I think where did they go? Like Butch Patrick's a mini coffin table book. I got this from Butch himself, actually. Got him to autograph it and everything for me. I think that
you got a copy as well.
Mine is the Stephen Cox one. It's got an afterword by Butch and a forward by Yvonne DiCarlo. So that's what I thought that was when you picked that up there.
But even this one says it's like an unauthorized version and everything. And it's like a Butch Patrick's Munster Memories, a mini coffin table book. And I'm like, even this is like an unauthorized thing and is done by an actor from the show. I'm like, this is crazy. But yeah, this is he gave me his autograph and everything in that book when I met him up a couple years ago. Like
Butch is a really nice guy. He's a him and Jason Marsden met, and I was so excited. I couldn't be there to meet them both, but I've been trying to get them together for years and actually to kind of chat to each other. Yeah. And so many people, the fans sometimes can make it so toxic by saying, "Oh yeah, I prefer one person over the other." Yeah. You know, come on, guys. It's a fandom. Appreciate all incarnations of the show, unless it graphically offends you.
I do wish, like, because Daniel Roebuck, when we had him on, he talked about Jason. Him and Jason, they're friends and stuff. And it's interesting to see like how all these random castmates from different eras of the Munsters are connected, but then the fans are all like, "Fuck you, we don't like any of this shit except for this one." And I'm like,
and you know, really? It's perfectly okay for you to do that. Just stop being an asshole to everyone who disagrees with you.
Yeah,
or the actors themselves. It's not their fault that they got the job. I mean, it's not their fault they got the job because they're talented enough to get that specific job, you know. And you can't have the same actor be that character forever if you want the franchise to have longevity.
I don't know, that group I was in, they really wanted AI to revive a bunch of the original cast, which that's so bad on so
they would
many
literally be monsters of monsters.
It's really disrespectful as well, because the profits from any AI wouldn't go to the family.
There would be no profit.
It's just so, it's really weird, you know, digging up dead people digitally. That's the best way I can describe it. You know, you need to, things have their place. If the Munsters came on television today, I don't think it would work in the same format, in the same fashion as it was filmed originally. We're a very different machine. Society is very different. There are parallels and things that we can pick up, but it was very much a product of its time, as was Munsters today, which is very 90s, very 80s. How far along are you guys into the episodes? What are you on at this moment?
We are close to finishing season 2.
I think we have a couple episodes left.
It's about to get exciting. There's a lot more Marilyn coming. Thank goodness.
I've already noticed it after our little rant about that a few episodes ago. And then you messaged
she's just not there. It's like she's not there. It's so weird.
She's in her succubus slumber. That's all we gotta say.
Yeah, well, actually, I will share that. I don't think I shared that on the show yet. You told me after the last No Marilyn episode where we were like, "What the hell is going on with this?" You actually told me that there was a walk-off with the cast about it.
Yep, the actors had kind of rallied around Hillary and said, "Look, this is verging on bullying." You know, there was a few days she was sent home. It was certain cast members, one particular producer would be like, "Nah, you look too fat. You don't look good enough. You need to go and lose more weight." And all this was said quite openly in front of everyone. And I think it was Lee turned around at first and said, "Look, you know, you can't do this to her. She's a kid." Number one, I can't remember what age she was by that season, but she's still a kid. Yeah, you're pushing her so much. They were really trying to sexualize the character, which unfortunately, as part of season 3, they do that. Some of the things she wears are barely legal, but it's one of those.
That's the thing, is like, she in this show, she's still in high school at least in the first 2 seasons. So you're kind of like, why are you trying to sexualize a teenager?
Exactly.
You know, it's not a show for teens necessarily, so it doesn't make sense to be. That's not your target audience, are teenage boys, you know. So why are you targeting with a sexualized version of a teenage girl? You know,
it's the thing that they kind of saw at the time, because Bonnie Franklin left the show as well. She walked off the show for separate reasons, but kind of similar to do with it, because everyone in the show got on brilliantly. The core crew and the stage crew and the cast are all still friends to this day, most of them. It was the sort of supervising producers and producers that were very heavy-handed. The machine itself, Arthur Anachariko, was known for being slightly misogynistic, very homophobic, which affected Howard quite a bit. And so when the actors walked off, they realised, okay, this show is a hit again. And it's in syndication. There's so many stations wanting this show. And I think it was the episode where Dr. Frankenstein came back to see Herman. You'll notice at the end of that episode, the makeup totally changes in the last segment from the segment before that. That's because of the walkout, because the cast were like, look, you're not looking after Hillary, you're not looking after Jason, you're not looking after anyone. It's a toxic work environment with a cast that really cares about this project. They all really cared about the Munsters. They wanted it to be family-centric. The storylines were getting... Because there were some days the cast were coming in and saying, I'm not going to read that because Herman Munster wouldn't say that to his wife. And, you know, I'm not going to do that because Eddie Munster would not do that to his father.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, unfortunately, do become part of season 3. You'll notice that the family becomes a lot more dysfunctional. They become a lot less acting like the Munsters would and a bit more acting like the Bundy family would.
Right. And I feel that's... Yeah, I think I've had that conversation on the episode before where it felt like they were trying to turn them into the Bundys, where like you have Marilyn, they're trying to over-sexualize her as a teenager because they did that on Married with Children and stuff with what's the actress's name? Christina
Applegate.
Yeah. So I forget her character name. What was her character name? Because I remember Bud Bundy, but
Kelly
Bundy. Yeah, Kelly Bundy. Okay. Yeah. I haven't watched that in a while. I know Tivis was watching it before, so but yeah,
I watched them last week. There's a Pluto TV channel that's just Married with Children, but because the episodes are so heavily edited for family, you have no friggin' idea what's going on. It's like jumping from one scene to the next. There's no dialogue. Two people are talking, but they're facing in different directions. What's happening? It's so heavily edited. It's a shame.
We I think it was on part 1 of our 100 episode celebration, or the last episode or 2 that we were talking, and I brought up the fact that I feel that if you're looking for like the most modernized version of like a Munster family, you're looking at the Married with Children show. Like that's, you know, you have the kooky parent, like everybody's like really kooky. You have the weird neighbor who just hates the husband, like is disgusted by him, even though like her husband itself is best friends with him and everything. No matter what husband she has, both of her husbands were like good friends with Al Bundy. So it was a very, when I thought about it out loud, I was like, this would probably be the closest to like the most modern, little raunchier version of a Munsters without them being actual monsters. Like a visual representation of monsters. They're like an actual family of just horrible people that would be like that. And I think we were talking about, I don't never remember saying it on the podcast itself, but I had said something to Tivis one day after the show, and he's like, oh, you should mention that on the show. And I think I totally forgot about it, but we came up with
I forgot to.
We came up with the idea that in the Munsters, especially the Munsters today, everybody that comes into the episode, like the guests and all that stuff, they are more monsters than the Munsters themselves.
Oh yeah.
And I found that to be a very cool thought. Like when I came up with that, I was like, because it was, I think it was probably after one of the bosses came in, like either Graves or something like that. I was just like, every single guest we get on this show, they're like the epitome of monster.
Yeah.
And compared to the Munsters, who are supposed to be like actual monsters or whatever, you know, quote unquote monsters. So it was a pretty cool thought.
We
I
see
had
that in the 90s movie as well.
Yeah.
Here Come the Munsters.
Yeah.
You've got all these sociopaths and weirdos, but they look like you and me. Well, the Munsters are good-hearted people that just happen to look a little different. That's one of the things that from the first episode that I saw, because I think the way I discovered the Munsters was Munsters Today, Munsters, the movies, and then, you know, the different variations throughout the years. It stood out to me, especially in season 1 of Munsters Today, that, you know, when the neighbours come in, I know, Tivis, you loved Dee Dee. It was one of your favourite characters of all time. If you could strangle her with her own shoes, you probably would. But seeing the family slightly warm over the episodes, because they were there for a while, the Nelsons, they were there for a good 6 or 7 episodes, I think, in total, over the space, and then Dustin continued to be in the show. You saw those characters warm to the Munsters, and that was reflective of life in the 80s, that people were starting to come around to new ways of living, you know, not judging based on stereotypes of people or colours. That was something that at least I felt at school growing up, because like we had people in our class who didn't look like us, didn't sound like us, who came from different cultures, different backgrounds, and we learned to appreciate them. There was still a lot of hatred and things like that. So I think for our core group at school anyway, who I'm still friends to this day with, we really felt that, and that's why I think it resonated with kids at the time in the UK, because there was changes here societally that we could relate to these characters on screen, and as long as you were a good person, you had a good heart, or you know, got a good replacement one at a cheap price through Grandpa, you could have these adventures.
Won the Kentucky Derby.
Yep. It was a really great way to bring a family comedy into a new genre, because you know, I loved monsters, I loved horror growing up. Some things scared me, some things didn't, but the Munsters was neutral, it was funny, and it had a good heart to it. And that's something that some episodes in season 2 of Munsters and season 3 of Munsters Today, when the characters started not doing things that I thought the characters should be doing, and even John Shuck and Yvonne DiCarlo were saying, you know, Yvonne DiCarlo at the time commented about hitting Fred Gwynn, slapping him and knocking him over the couch and things like that. And she was like, yeah, is that really a good wife that does that? Should we be laughing at that? And that was Yvonne way back in the 60s bringing this up, saying, you know, should I be hitting my husband? It's not good either way. But it was played for laughs. And
to be fair, their whole relationship was a little wonky anyways, especially in that episode where they're both like semi-cheating on each other while trying to...
Yeah, it's the first time she... the first time she ever uppercutted him was when she thought he took that guard duty with that one girl, and
it just blows the mind, because you see your favorite characters making decisions, and you're like, it's not part of their progression. It's just the writers have changed. And you can even see that even as a kid, I understood that was, you know, not the characters, it was the writers.
And you can really tell when the writers from even the 60s, the 80s show, either one, are really changing up, because it's like they're trying to emulate what other shows that were hitting it off at that time were doing. Like you had the Munsters show come out, but then like there were other shows in the late 60s that were popping off, and people were like, oh, well, people like that stuff, so let's kind of write it into these shows here. And you kind of went away from like the more wholesome family environment. You went away from like the deeper hard cut PSA moments in the episodes in the 60s with that stuff. And it's interesting because even in the Munsters Today, like we still... every so often, it's weird because it's like randomly that you have these hard-hitting moments on the show, especially in season 2. We've had several of them where it's been really good conversation about it. So it's interesting to see. All it takes is the writing, or a horrible writer, or you know, a cheap, lazy writer who's just trying to emulate what's already hitting off good. We get a lot in media nowadays, for sure. We see it all over the place. Like how many multiverse movies have we had forever? Just because they're like, oh, this one did good. Like
you see it throughout a lot of shows, and some of them, the good ones, course correct, but they lose their identity to try and emulate what's more popular.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. That sometimes is a product of, I think, back then and now, where you have writers on staff or part of your... Sorry, my camera's doing this really dramatic thing again. So you have writers that come in and they are on staff they're on contract and they need to do something. So they go, yeah, you take an episode of Munsters today and write about mini Munsters and time travel. And, you know, you come back in 1 minute, you come back in 2, we'll reintegrate you in time. What a lot of shit. That made no sense to me. It's like, even as a kid, I was like, this doesn't make sense. It hurt my head so badly. Still does to this day. I just watched you guys' reaction to that and I'm like, yes, it's not just me. I'm not just a bad fan. It makes no sense. The actors were great, but and the scene with Lily, like you guys said, when there was like little Herman here and big Herman here, that was almost like a fan project, the way that was starting to go.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. Oh my God. But yeah, that can become a product of having a writer on staff that you have a contract with, you have to see it through, have them write for that and then goodbye to them. But it does hurt the shows, especially if it jumps the shark so badly that it gives you new timelines for them. Or goes back on facts that were previously established. Like you guys said in the last episode, not that I watch every episode right away, but I do. Dr. Frankenstein, who was previously established as being dead, is now alive and then dead. It's so crazy. It just really does.
Like they established that he was dead, and then they were like, "Oh, he's alive," and I'm like, "You established that he was dead already," but then they say he was dead, and then Herman's like worried because he's like, "I didn't go there." I'm like, "You literally said you were the only one at the funeral, dude."
Yeah,
like your brother wasn't there. Like,
disappointing because this show has been so good with keeping on continuity and referencing itself, and then just drop the ball there like that.
Yeah. I know the writers did try and work with the actors to establish, because they lost the series Bible that was written. Because of series contracts, the new series couldn't speak to the original series producers until something to do with Noah Taft had been ticked. A box needed ticked. So they couldn't fix that. They said, okay, let's establish the facts from watching the episodes. So all of the producers watched the episodes, the original ones that they could get at the time, wrote down all the facts they could, and then worked it from there. Then in season 2, they threw it out the window because a new production team came in. So unfortunately, Lloyd Schwartz and his team were moved to the side, and they came in and they said, yeah, we're totally revising the timeline. We're dropping the suspended animation thing from, sleeping for 20 years. All of that's gone. It's now this. And I'm like, that doesn't work. That really doesn't work. Your audience aren't that silly that they won't notice these things. Especially if you're a diehard fan, which a lot of fans of the Munsters were, who were like, yeah, this isn't my Munsters. You've screwed it up, and I'm not going to watch it now in a protest.
It's interesting too, because they did that and they just like basically scrapped it by season 2. But in season 2, they take the time to explain and write off Eddie's purple and black suit. like if you're gonna do it, just jump into it. Don't even waste a whole episode on his freaking clothes change. Like it was like, oh, whatever.
Because that could have been the break. That could have happened, across the holidays or something. Mention it in a sentence. But I do think that I like the way they done that with Eddie coming of age, because that had been touched on in mini Munsters. And a lot of aspects from mini Munsters crossed over into Munsters Today season 2. Interested to see what you guys think of season 3, because there's a lot of highs, a lot of really great episodes, really great guest stars, but some things that will make you go, why did you do that? Please stop.
Right. Oh, man.
Well, that was pretty much season 2 of the original show. So I mean, some of my favorite episodes are in that season, but also a lot of the low points.
Yeah. You could really tell when it was changing up in the room, the writing room and stuff, or when they were just like, screw it, we're done after this season, so let's just do whatever the heck we want.
Now, I'm gonna pivot a little bit because we got a time limit here, but you sent us some photos that I would like to. Oh, good God, you put that in there. Why? All right. Let's get to your photos here. You sent us this one here.
Yeah. So that is a very, very special one. That came from Lloyd Schwartz himself, who sent me the first VHS copy of the promo for the series, the script for the series, and the original pilot episode. It's still not the same pilot that's online. This one's a little bit longer. But I'd written to Lloyd way back when I was a student and said, hey, I'd love to chat to you, find out more about what it is you've done, because he is a big TV icon. He was responsible for the Brady Bunch. His dad was obviously the original creator. So much history there. So getting the chance to chat to him, because I kept his number on my phone for a very, very long time, until he got a restraining order. No, I'm kidding, he didn't. We still chat to this day. So Lloyd kind of was like a kind of father figure almost to me in terms of television, giving me all the things, the highs and lows, what to expect from the industry. So as well as opening the doors to me about, you know, things behind the scenes on Munsters and Munsters Today, he opened a lot of things for career-wise for me to say, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? We may have a collaborative project coming up as well, which is Munsters related, which I shall tell you guys later, because we may be able to get you involved in it, which is quite exciting. It might see the Munsters come to Broadway. That's all I can say.
Oh, that's exciting.
Cool.
A little bit of a sizzle. All right. This one?
Yeah, so this is one of the walls in my house which has Munsters stuff on it. So that is the A&W sort of root beer item car thing. But I've also got one of the first photos I got from Jason Marsden when we met. I've got a slate card. I've got some little photos from Munsters Today. Also got the scale model replica there. So that A&W car, there's two little ones and one massive one that doesn't even fit in my bedroom because it's just so big. It's just so big. And there's a few out there. I've seen one going for $700. And I'm like, it's made of cardboard, dude. Wow. Yeah. Just, you know, take a picture of it.
Yeah, I've seen some of a lot of the A&W stuff from the Munsters. There's some cheap out there, and then there's some that's just crazy priced.
Yeah.
It gets kind of cool and interesting. Yeah.
I love looking at old crossover merch like that.
Yeah.
So cool.
My grandpa has, he had, I should say. My dad now has it, and it's locked away in the upstairs because he's a hoarder. But they had a ton of stuff from like Hee Haw and ad placements for that because that was my grandpa's favorite show growing up. So for those who don't know, that is a sketch comedy, one of the first sketch comedies out there.
Hee Haw?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Let's do this picture here.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's so another part of the collection in this bedroom. As you can see, there's like all sorts of things, but I've got the Munster Mansion up there. I'm giving it a new coat of paint at the moment, which is why some of the paint looks a little different. So that's one I made for Halloween way back in the day, and I'm trying to kind of bring back to life, but it's got lights in it. It's got the living room set. It's got the stairs that open up and breathes fire. Obviously, I have to bring down the fire a little bit because I almost set fire to the whole thing down the test the other night.
Oh, no.
It was like up in flames. I was like, no, don't burn. This has taken about 8 years to put together. Please don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a bit of a shock. Woke me up. I've also got Lee Meriwether's bat necklace up there that I got from Karen Swerling. It was one of the spare ones they had. So I've got that, which was quite cool. I've got some of the pop vinyls. I've got the Munster
you see them. Yeah, you can see them better in the closer up picture right there with the bat necklace on the. I think it's the left hand side of the screen for everybody watching.
Yeah, and I've also got one of Howard's medallions. It's the one that he wore on the day of the pilot, the day that he got the role. So
awesome.
They were doing a table read basically, and Howard said, "No, I can't do this table read without having a cape. I have to go out and get a cape." So he nipped out to the Halloween store and he got a cape and the little medallion and sat and wore it during the table read, which I thought was quite a cool thing to do. That's quite cool. He was very committed to the role.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's nice you have some of the official Funkos because I just have, Blacklight Frankenstein that I've been using in my backdrop.
Yeah.
He's cool, though. He's really cool. I don't have him yet. I need to get him in my collection.
I got him next to my picture of Jeff.
Jeff. My name is Jeff. Sorry.
Do you know that? I was like, where did that voice come from? Who was that? Mike, you scared me. I'm hearing voices again. I need to start the medication.
It is always impressive to see your collection. Now, that house in this photo, is that the same model you showed us last time you were here?
No, this is a new one. So this is another one because that one's now in a museum of horror. So
nice.
And I'm doing another scale model, because like I'm not a professional by any means. It's old cereal boxes and coffee stirrers from KFC. That's what I use to make these things. I just put lights in them, and it looks impressive.
It's incredible.
It's quite relaxing after a hard day on set when actors have stressed me out and made me want to strangle them. I come home and strangle some cardboard, and it keeps me calm. That and the Munster Cast are the two things I do to chill. And not a joke. I literally look forward to you guys having a new episode on a Monday, and when it doesn't come out or there's a break, I'm like, "Yep, I need to go and strangle some actors now." So thanks, Mike and Tivis. The deaths will be your fault.
That's fine with me. Not all actors need to be. No, I'm not even going to finish that sentence.
We can think it, Mike. We can think it.
Oh man, yeah, no, dude. Like, I love hearing when you're talking about like all the stuff that when you bring us photos, everything like that, dude. It's awesome. And I think we've pretty much tapped like you for all the fan service stuff that I can think of right now in the community, because you are the one that I would think, if you know of any fan films out there, to ask you about, because those are things that like we would definitely watch those and literally take an episode for a fan
absolutely
film. Some of them, like I said, really good, good. Some of them I'll get as many as I can for you guys, and I'll put them on a Dropbox or something. You can share them, because a lot of them, they used to be on YouTube going back to 2006 maybe, but they're all gone now. I don't know if it's because the users have moved on, or...
Did you yourself do any like fanfic like stories by chance, or no?
Yes. Okay, this leads me into the Broadway thing that I was talking about. I have to be so careful.
Well, don't give off too much info that you can't.
Yeah,
don't get you in trouble.
But I'll tell you the rough premise. There was a lot of things that people who watch the Munsters love. And there's a lot of things that people who watch the Addams Family love, or Beetlejuice. And if you were to smoosh all them together, I started thinking about, what if you added music to the Munsters? What sort of popular music would there be? You know, there's great gravitas for writing new music around the Munsters. The stories that are in there, the characters as well. And that gave me an idea for a couple of, not new characters, but expanding on the background of a couple of characters that already exist. Right. So I wrote what originally at the time was going to be a pilot episode for a revival of the Munsters. Oh, Tivis?
It sounds like Cousin Phantom of the Opera may be coming back, and I'm not...
Yeah. My face is giving it away for the video watchers. That's quite likely, yeah, because he's one of my favourite characters. I think he was phenomenal. He made that movie for me. Anytime he would sing, and the physical gags with the breaking of the glass and things like that, all of that to me, I thought that would work so well on a stage. What if we were to bring all of these things together? The sort of, because Beetlejuice has been on stage for a while, phenomenally successful. The Addams Family has been on stage, phenomenally successful. Universal are missing a buck here, not doing the Munsters. So at the time, the Munsters was tied up with a development project that didn't happen. So the script I sent for the episode never came to anything. They said, we loved it, but needs to go on the shelf and we'll reconsider it at another point. So I reached out to Lloyd Schwartz and I said, your episodes of Munsters today, do you still own the rights to those episodes, those concepts and characters? So there was a bit of discussion over what could be brought in, because depending on who wrote for each episode, some characters are owned by third parties and parts of MCA Television and Universal. It all breaks up into various parts. So there was a lot of discussion over that. And then the basics were, when I spoke to Butch Patrick, he was like, you know, if this goes ahead, this would be something I would love to be involved with. Rob Zombie, it's been kind of put to him that this is something potentially he could get involved with his music. There's a lot of correlation. So what I can tell you is there's a project in development that would bring together music, the Munsters, and interactive television. So it's something very new. It's not been done before. It's never been done. If we do this, it would be the first thing of its kind. It comes from an idea I had way back 20 years ago, before the internet was a big thing in Scotland. And just thinking of how you could interact with characters, not using AI or any of these new tools, going just traditional with a stage and your audience and what you can do. And this new Munsters project came to mind. And so that's in a sort of development phase just now. But that's based on the original script that I wrote as a fan fiction many years ago. So, yeah, it's something
to do.
I'm looking forward to if it goes ahead. I should find out by the middle of next year, based on how this Munsters project goes, the one that's in development. So,
and for people who watched or listened to part 1, I talked a little bit about some film stuff in there, and who are listening to this, just know this happens all the time in the industry. We talk about stuff. Sometimes it takes like 10, 20, 30 years for it to happen.
Yeah.
So don't be like, oh my God, it's coming out like in a year. No.
Yeah. No release date planned or anything like that. It's a bit like, again, you'd think I was here, trying to get Beetlejuice 2 more viewers, but with Beetlejuice 2 coming out, that is something that they had in the works for so long. There was so many different adaptations, so many different scripts, 1 or 2 that I had actually read, that it wasn't the right time. They didn't have everyone on board they wanted. There was contractual obligations. Even when they actually did almost get filming on a second Beetlejuice back in 2008. It didn't happen because the cast were doing different things. Tim Burton was tied up on projects contractually that would have meant it had to wait a year, but then Catherine O'Hara wasn't available. All of these things are part of the industry machine, and it's not just because a project wouldn't be successful or isn't going ahead. It's sometimes like if you can't get everyone to the table at the same time, you have to say, okay, we need to look at it for another 18 months down the line, 2 years down the line.
Yeah, I think now is like kind of one of the better times for it, just because I think right now everyone's in that nostalgia mode where they want
the legacy sequels are coming out.
Yeah, all the legacy stuff. And then not only that, but shit, what's her real name?
Who you thinking of?
The girl from Beetlejuice.
Winona Ryder, Jenna Ortega.
Winona Ryder. Right now, Winona Ryder's popping off real big because she got her
Stranger Things
spotlight back with Stranger Things. So the last 10 years, she's actually been doing a lot more stuff. She's back off of like that sabbatical of like the bad girl thing and all that stuff. I mean, granted, she's older now too, of course, but she's finally back on track on stuff. So it's cool for her there. Plus, then, of course, you do have Jenna Ortega, who just fits the role of like that character's daughter just by appearance alone. So yeah, it's one of those things. Just like, why not?
Hey,
why
let's
not
get her in the Munsters in the future and just check off all 3. Addams Family, Beetlejuice.
That would be amazing. Bringing the whole franchise together, like in some way with these other popular franchises. Yeah. You'll notice actually a lot on Munsters today. The early episodes, they had references to things like Beetlejuice and Poltergeist when they were watching TV and things like that. It's all part of the same sort of Munsters adjacent genres that you watch or you check into, because it's got that feel to it. It's got that kind of thing. Like the Munsters adjacent stuff, like I've got here, like Forrest J. Ackerman, his Monster DVD. That's kind of on my DVD shelf next to my Munsters stuff. Then you've got like, what do we have here? Wayne and Schuster presenting An Affectionate Look at the Monsters. Actually includes a subsection on the Munsters in it. Don't know if you guys ever got these, the Al Lewis VHS kind of things. So this is a collection of all the Grandpa Monster movies that are on VHS. Yeah. And again, Al Lewis knew what he was doing to still not infringe the copyright, but still be known as Grandpa. Not Grandpa, but Grandpa. Copyright. To know what to do. All of these things just have such a feel-good factor to them. Bringing them together would be an incredibly big money-making machine. And I hate using the money side of it, but it's the only thing the producers listen to is, selling the merchandise and selling, you make it, we will buy it. We will buy Munsters stuff. Please, for the love of God, be listening to this episode and take us up on it. Let's do it.
I really hope that this Broadway project, specifically the one you referenced, or maybe a different future one, takes off, because it does seem like that market is being underutilized lately. And like we had a guest on our preview on the other show we did, Ian Levenstein. He raves about Back to the Future, the stage show. So, you know, like all these things that you wouldn't expect to work in that medium, they clearly do. So give it a try.
Have you guys heard of the Flux Capacitors, the tribute band that kind of do the Back to the Future style music?
A little bit, yeah.
So Ryan Silverberg, who was Eddie's friend on Munsters Today, he's in the band. So there's another Munsters Today. Hey, you should get Ryan on the show. Oh, he was a big part of Series 2 and 3. He was always coming on the show. He was the one that was Eddie's best friend from school. I can connect you with Ryan. He's a good guy. He gave me the plans to the original Munsters set and the Munsters Today sets. He had a lot of photos and things like that from backstage. It's just, he's an awesome guy. Really worthwhile.
Speaking of the plans for the Munsters Today set, where the hell does the corridor go that the mummy is sitting in when it turns that way?
Yeah.
Okay. We've been talking about it.
Is that a circle like we've been thinking?
It is. It goes behind the set and down. So there's a little door there that you never see, but there's a little door, like a very narrow door, that we are given the impression that is the downstairs bathroom. All the cast just assumed that was the downstairs bathroom. The door didn't open, so it didn't go anywhere or do anything. So that was the downstairs bathroom. And then as you go, so say you're at the dining table and you're looking down the corridor to the back of the house, that would take you to the back doors that would go outside where Eddie played basketball with Cousin Gil. So that would be the doors off to the side. And then the kitchen mysteriously just gets smaller. They had a fire during season 1 when they moved the set from Hollywood Center Studios to Universal. So they moved the set and there was a fire. Some of the set got damaged. That's why the kitchen's so much smaller, because they had to just close it to get rid of the gap.
I was wondering why we haven't had a whole lot of stuff happening in there lately.
Yeah.
The kitchen comes back, but it's a smaller kitchen. So, because the fire just destroyed most of the wall. An electrical fire, from what I'm told. One of the many mishaps on the set. Also, there was the time that the Howard banged his head on the door and ended up in the emergency room during a live taping. It knocked him unconscious because the door would open. At this point, it wasn't just a trapdoor they put a lever in it so that it would open. So one of the stagehands had hit it and the door weighed about 40 pounds and it just shut and hit Howard on the head, knocked him clean unconscious during the taping. So he had to go to the emergency room in his full Grandpa Munster makeup and cape and Dracula outfit. And they were like, and all the orderlies at the time were like, is that Grandpa from the Munsters just been brought in? Like, they're like, yeah, please can you make sure he's okay? We think he's got a concussion. One of the many stories from behind the scenes. I'm hoping actually pretty soon to speak to Hillary again, because I've been talking to her about the show. And I'd love to get her on the show with you guys. I think she's just very she's out of the public eye. She's been doing her own thing. She's so talented. She's been doing music. She's working on her own book series. She's such a talented girl, and I think it would be great to have her on the show. She could answer a lot of the questions you guys have that I can't answer. She's got so many really great recollections of the show, but also some ones that aren't. But it would be great to have her on the show just to talk about the positives of being Marilyn Munster, because she was one of the most popular. She's still to this day on her fan page. She gets about 100 messages a week. And people keep emailing me thinking, can you pass these on to Hillary? And I'm like, yeah, but that won't make her reply. You know, she's got to make the decision to reply to you. And in true Munster style, there's some right weirdos out there. She's had marriage proposals, like all sorts of really strange, detailed emails. And she's like, yeah, Frank, just you take them, you delete them, you keep them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's like that for a lot of things. It's weird, man. Some people don't realize they're just human beings, dude. Like, chill. Yeah. All actors are just normal. Most actors are just normal human beings.
Some of them, yeah.
We'll say some.
Hillary's definitely one of the good ones. She's really down to earth. She still keeps in touch with everybody. She keeps in touch with Jason, John, Lee, and you know, like I said, like if you spend any amount of time with a group of people and during your formative years, they'll be part of your family forever. And you know, the Today cast as well as the original cast all kept in touch. They all really, really cared about each other, despite all the things that were said in the newspapers and you know reported in Entertainment Weekly. These were people that spent a lot of time together and enjoyed the experience, and you know the bads and the goods, and you know, and they're really, really proud, and so they should be of the product they made.
We all know, like in the friggin' tabloids, any exploitive news source out there, they're gonna take if somebody like made a stupid joke about one of the other actors and be like, oh, they said this, and that's what the whole article is gonna be about, to make it sound like they don't get along. It still happens today, you know.
TMZ
and
is
people will take and edit very awkward like stances that actors are having in an interview because of the question the interviewer asked, but they try and like they edit it around to make it look like they're being awkward with the other actors that are there with them, and that's not. They do it all the time still, and it's very sad that so many people fall for this stuff, dude. It's so crazy.
When it comes to entertainment news, if you haven't figured it out yet, dear listener, the headlines are meaningless. If it's a topic that interests you, read the article.
Tivis, that's not just entertainment news. That's
oh, I know, but I'm just saying
that's most news.
It was clickbait before there was clickbait, you know. These articles, and you know they do, you know, conflict is such a big part of life anyway. We've got enough of it in the world without inciting more conflict, and even in the fandom as well. Like Tivis was saying earlier, we have so many parts of the fandom that if you say you like something, you're not allowed to like something. You're less than because you like that or because you support that. People can be so toxic, but I'm starting to learn that it says so much more about those people than it says about us and what we like. You like what you like, and you can't change it. That's just the way it is. Just don't be toxic, please. Just don't be toxic.
I've said it repeatedly. The Mockingbird Lane, phenomenal writing, great actors, everything about it. It's not my Munsters. I don't prefer it, but if you do, good, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like you're getting more of that, so it doesn't.
Even still,
I'll be honest.
I'm never gonna talk down to anyone who enjoys Mockingbird Lane. You know.
Yeah.
I would have watched it, but I wouldn't have, you know, been like tuning in the way I was when I was a kid, or you know, the way I've been for like Rob's new movie or other things, because the tone was different. I appreciated it. It was more Munsters adjacent than Munsters, but it just had the same characters. Fine. It keeps the Munsters popular and it keeps the characters popular, and then that brings a new audience to the original series.
It was almost like Herman in that one was more like a cyborg than anything.
Yeah,
wasn't like a Frankenstein monster. It was more like a cyborg.
Yeah,
so
like Robocop.
I'd go with cyborg. That's right. Yeah, because an android is a robot made to look human, whereas a cyborg is a person who got robotic parts.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the whole thing that creeped me out about that was he made Herman's body, all of it, especially for his daughter. It's like it crosses a line for me. I'm like, there's some things your dad shouldn't know.
To be fair, I thought that was going to be the story of the Rob Zombie movie. So
yeah, so did I actually. Yeah, so did I until I saw that it wasn't. I've got to say, Daniel Roebuck killed it as Grandpa in that movie. He was phenomenal. And, you know, even Eddie Izzard as Grandpa, that sarcastic delivery he had, and, you know, I really enjoyed that. Charity Wakefield and Eddie Izzard together were a good double pair. I would have loved to see more of that. And Mockingbird Lane, if they'd put that together. But it shows you sometimes, you know, you can put all the money in the world into something.
I'm really curious what their plan was with Marilyn in that one, because she definitely had a darker side to her in that little episode that they dropped.
I'm still not convinced, because she tried to save that guy's life.
She did,
but she still had the very darker. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
I think she just came across more as Wednesday Addams than normal Marilyn.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens if James Wan gets his done. So I'll definitely be looking out for it. And of course, if it happens, we'll be talking about it because we have nothing else to do with our lives.
That's what we do. You want to come on here and promote it? You know, we could. You know, our 5 listeners will be listening.
Oh, we have way more listeners than that.
I know. I was joking.
You guys, anytime I'm in work at the water cooler, everyone's always like, have you heard the Munster Cast yet? And there was once like I hadn't tuned in yet and started talking about it. I was like, oh, you actually spoiled it for me. They were like, oh, we thought you would have heard it already, Frank, or watched it. And I was like, I didn't get a chance. I fell asleep last night. And they were like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, so you should be. You spoil my Myke and Tivis fix. That is just not good. That's not on.
I don't know if we really give facts more as we just like talk shit and just
I'm here for it.
Make it work. Oh yeah. It's a lot of me just saying stuff and Tivis just like shaking his head so none of the audio listeners hear it.
You should do a compilation of all the offensive things Myke has said, Tivis, and you just shaking your head accordingly to it.
We'll have our YouTube taken down.
I don't say anything offensive because YouTube hasn't even flagged any of our videos for anything I've said.
Because we're flying under the radar for now.
And long may that continue, because I'm here for it. I'm here for the drama. Do you know, I've got to say, you guys, you do such a good job in like not only keeping the Munsters alive, but just entertaining people and, you know, giving them the facts from behind the scenes and doing your research. Like you guys do a phenomenal job, not just with this podcast, but the other projects as well. So keep on going, keep on. Like I said, hopefully more episodes to come. This is only episode 100, and I think you've got season 3 of Munsters today, and then what do you guys have planned? The comics,
comic books, yep.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm sure I will dig up some other stuff too. So
we also plan to revisit some previous episodes, which, Frank, I asked this of Mosier. Let's see if you can do it on the spot. Give us 3 episodes of the original show you would love us to go back and redo. Or rewatch, not redo.
Oh, okay. Yes, Galen, there is a Herman. Where they meet the Dr. Lineback with that accent, which is just phenomenal. The comedy in that episode and the physicality of the comedy was really, really strong. They had, you know, Herman lifting Galen over the railings and stuff like that. That was phenomenally done for a show at the time.
That is also the episode we learned that the first episode we learned where Grandpa has time travel, right? Because he comes down into the basement and he's watching Pompeii on video.
Oh yes, what it is? Yes, that's right. They're watching the old home movies from back in the day.
And that's what we're really like. I'm like, Grandpa totally is a time traveler. And then we get the time travel episode in the Munsters today. I'm like, yep, that clarifies
There's
it.
more time travel to come. There is more time travel to come. It makes more appearances in season 3. So yeah,
that's how you know that you don't have nothing left to do is when you get into time travel. You're like, we don't know what else to do. Let's time travel it. I guess at that point in time, though, not to be punny, but in that point in time, like you had Back to the Future was really huge. So you had like that. I think Doctor Who was coming back, right?
No, Doctor Who went away in '89. Then it had a TV movie in '96 and didn't come back till.
So it had just finished up before this started. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But funny you mentioned Back to the Future. There's Back to the Future vibes from the episodes that are coming up of Munsters today with time travel. Yeah. It's very silly but funny. Very silly but funny to look forward to. But yeah, so yes, Galen, there is a Herman. Great episode to go back to.
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. Yeah, that's right.
It was going on the exact same time as this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? The guy that played Al and Quantum Leap, I've forgotten his real name. Oh, phenomenal actor.
Who played Al? It was because he passed away. I know that. Dean Stockwell.
Dean Stockwell. He was a Munsters fan, so he had been to the set of the Munsters, and he'd been to the tapings of Munsters Today. Munsters Today had a lot of the stars of the day in the audience for the tapings. Like even Michael Jackson went to the set.
Yeah.
To visit. That's where the episode with Eddie Danson was originally going to be a Michael Jackson episode. They just couldn't quite negotiate the pay. But so many actors actually requested, could you write an episode of Munsters today for me to be in it? So which would have been phenomenal. That would have been so cool. Wish I could have been at a taping.
Yeah, definitely.
If I had time travel, if I had to go somewhere, I would go back to 1987 when they were putting the show together and just stand in the audience and just watch.
Just remember, though, if you go and do time travel and the mini you comes out, you have to send them and drop them off 2 minutes in the future, and you get off in 1 minute in the future, and then everything will be perfectly fine, because that's how time travel works in the Munster.
Just keep an eye on your wallet.
Yep. And your wife. You don't want a 10-year-old trying to bang your wife. That's what happens if you mess with time travel.
I don't want a 10-year-old trying to bang anything. Can we not?
Exactly. It's so creepy. So creepy.
So you got a third one in you off the top of your head?
Oh, off the top of my head, My Fair Munster, actually. Go back to the beginning, just to see what you guys thought of having seen the progression of all the characters through all the genres and iterations of Munsters, to go back to where it all began and see it. So I think that would be interesting.
Those are good.
To see what it began.
Yeah. I think we should also revisit both pilots later, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I know we did the pilot for the first show at the end after we watched all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then for this show, the Munsters Today, we did.
It was the first thing we watched.
The first pilot, the pilot first. Which was interesting, too, because then you see like all the crap they took from that for the intro for the actual show. So, and it's interesting to see what they used to do back in the day for the TV shows and their pilots. Half the time, they never actually put the pilot out. They just cut it up into pieces and put it into something else. Like even Star Trek did it with their original pilot. They just cut it up and then turned it into like what is it? It was a whole nother episode, but it was the premise of a whole episode. Like they took that footage and used it as the whole storyline for a whole episode, where Captain Pike is in his tube of like burnt death and all that stuff, and they're recounting the events, which was all the that episode. So that's kind of cool.
I think they've done Power Rangers as well with the two pilots. The one with Audrey Dubois eventually became Day of the Dumpster, but they used a lot of the footage, and then the second pilot became episode 4, I think, with the chili falling on Bulk. So
I have the original pilot where the original Yellow Ranger and they replaced someone else, I forget, but with the Bulk with the long hair, where he's a sidekick to another bully. I have that downloaded. I haven't watched it yet.
So strange. Both pilots, I think, are on YouTube, and then they done a reversioning of it when they got Austin and Walter back to do the 100th episode, I think it was, something like that. I've actually got, I just got this through in the mail. It's the Munsters on your pilots, commercials and promos. It's VHS, but it was released in, let me check the date, 89. So I shall upload this, and if there's anything worth considering, I'll send it to you guys, because I know that it says broadcast video quality at SP speed. I don't know what that means. It's got a version of the Munsters theme song intro with lyrics to it. I know there was lyrics in the original Munsters show as well. So the lyrics,
missing lyrics?
So they should be on this. I know the Munsters Today lyrics. I've reached out to the composer of the show, and he's going to send me because they actually recorded the Munsters Today with the full lyrics. Similar to if you're walking down the street at night, they're going to come and get you. And when they watched it, they were like, "Yeah, we really don't want to be telling children at home. Yeah, if you're walking down the street at night, something's behind you. It's Herman Munster. That's a little bit." So I'll try and get these versions and I'll send them to you guys. And like I said, I've got hard drives to go through, things to find. Anything I find, I shall make sure you guys find it first.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And then, like I said, if you've come across any like fan anything, send that our way. Anybody out there listening, if you have fan stuff for real, send it our way. Links, whatever the heck it is that you have.
To hand out our email to any fan group, fan creation groups, to because we'd love to hear from them, chat with them, whatever.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, definitely. Because
Myke and Tivis, just a quick question: would you guys like to come to Scotland to promote the Munster Cast? We've got a big convention coming up, and they're looking for podcasters who do like spooky horror themed. It's not till it's going to be about a year and a half from now. So I'm giving you guys way like in advance notice of it. But if we can arrange it, I'd love to get you guys to Scotland because we could take you to Slains Castle. They've got a Munsters exhibit there, and they've got all the old Dracula stuff because Bram Stoker done a lot of his writing there. So lots of things to see and do here. It'd be great to get you guys over here.
Yeah, that'd be freaking awesome, dude.
I'm definitely
sure if I went to Scotland and didn't have my wife with me, I'm pretty sure she'd kill me.
Oh no, bring the family with you. Like, you know, make a holiday out of it.
I don't know if I'm gonna bring kids. I got too many of them now. That's a lot of freaking money.
And bring the dogs as well. Hey, we just done that with a guest over for another project. She brought her dog and her family, and it was just insane. But we had a great time.
I think the only one I could probably take on a plane would be the pug. That's just because she's the most chill.
Oh, I thought because you could put her in your lap.
I mean,
some planes allow you that now.
Have you?
Which I trust that more than
bro. My pug is so fat. Like, there's no way I'm just putting her in my lap the whole freaking plane ride across the world. No, we're not doing that. It'd be like foot area. You know, I don't know. They have suitcases now. They have like little like rolling suitcases. There are bubbles that you can put your pets in and stuff too.
Oh, I've seen them. Yeah, because you can get one for your cat. It looks like a poke bubble.
Yeah,
you put your cat in a poke bubble.
Yeah, and it just has like all the air holes and stuff in it. So
we thought about getting that for this dumb. I don't know where she is. She's done terrorizing me now.
And
she's hanging off your leg, Tivis.
Oh, I've had to block a few scratches throughout this.
It's so funny. You can tell since that episode where you said, "Yeah, it's the cat going for my leg." Now and again, you can see the cat wandering in at the back, and then you can just see pain on Tivis's face, and you can just no noise, but you can just see Tivis like,
yeah,
she loves to grab onto my foot.
Yeah. It's always funny because like we'll be in mid conversation and then his cat will attack him and or like he'll be like screw you or something. And I'm like, what did I even say anything this time?
Oh, she decided she was gonna scratch my chair today.
Yeah. Oh man.
As long as she doesn't go for the Funkos.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions right now, Tivis? Since we have Frank here, bud.
No, not at the moment, but we would love to have you back in the future.
Well, hold your horses, sir. In that case, Frank, do you have any questions for us since you're here?
So many. You know, I wish that the episodes were like live at the time so I can just go, hey, Myke, tell me more about that. Tivis, tell me more about that.
We have thought about doing some live stuff, but it wouldn't be about an episode of the show. We would think like just doing like a live like Q&A kind of just chat and see whatever people want to talk about or something.
People are
interested. Like, hey, yeah, and then be like, hey, if so many people are on and they want to join, just send them the join link and be like, here, join on in, get on in here. Just
I'll get the link.
Have your clothes on or something, here, so. You know.
Yeah. Make sure it's like suitable for work.
I'm always worried when people do that, like on Instagram Live or something, and they'll be like, "Here's the link, join in." I'm like, someone is totally gonna show up with their ass hanging out and just like talking to you like Ace Ventura with their ass. Like, I can just.
There's a reason chat roulette went away.
Oh, remember that? Yeah. Oh.
Well, didn't they fix that with the new one, the Creole, or I don't even know.
Talking about the one where you just look at each other's eyeballs.
No, isn't there like there's one out there right now where you just go back and forth, you just click like swipe right or whatever, and it's like the video pops up. It's the ones where people are like scaring everybody on freaking TikTok with the videos and shit. I've
seen a few of those. Those are well done.
The only one I'm aware of is Omegle. Is it
Omegle? That's what I was thinking of.
Is that it? Yeah. I went on Omegle once and Jesus, I'm scarred. There were so many really strange people on that. Unfortunately, some of them I was related to because I was like, I think that's my cousin in her bra. Oh my god, I need to tell her dad. It's like really strange people doing strange things, but some of it's quite creative. There was this puppet, and it was this little puppet talking away with this little girl voice, and it was quite really funny, and it was asking me all these really strange questions, but there was I don't want to give too much away because check it out. I think if you just type in puppet Omegle, it'll come up, but it's worth it. It's so funny.
On like a YouTube or something?
Yeah. It's like a talk show host puppet.
Those are
so funny.
I think the thing is, everybody that goes on there is assuming that they'll be part of like a cool video and stuff like that. But I'm like, you have to go through like hundreds of really sketchy people on there to get to those. Not everyone on there is making videos. And if they are making, some of them are making videos, but it's like, check out my schlong or something. I'm like, no, I don't need to see this. So I've never used those. I've never used them, but I've heard some horror stories from them, and I'm just like, so basically some people try and use them as like cam sites and stuff. I'm just like, this is weird, bro.
There's this really, I forget his name. It's been a couple years now, but I went down a rabbit hole. This guy who uses a green screen really effectively, and it's like him sitting at a computer talking to him with a mirror, and the mirror's like staring at him and stuff, and he'll leave the room and he's still in the mirror and he just turns to look at the girls through the camera.
Oh, that's creepy, but inventive.
Awesome.
So you can be a creep and be creative at the same time.
I've always liked the people online who create like alternate personas and do video work like that. Like unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of like TikTok or short content videos, stuff like that.
Same.
I don't give a crap about reels. Like we post synopsis time and stuff because it's a cool little thing to get people interested maybe in the
boost
show.
The numbers.
So that's why I like doing that one, and I like sharing the synopsis for people who aren't necessarily sure, but if they hear some weird wacky thing from synopsis time, they'll be like, dude, I should probably check that show out. Not like our podcast, but the actual Munsters Today show, So and that's kind of like the thought process behind that. I'm thinking of going back and redoing like synopsis time for the original series as well, because when I did it, I was literally just reading the synopsis before that was like on IMDb or whatever, because they actually had a synopsis. The Munsters Today, none of those episodes really have it, and then some of them they have a synopsis, but it is nothing that happened in the episode. I'm like, that didn't happen. That is false, sir.
Like, a lot of it's the wrong episode of the wrong cast. They have the wrong cast members down. I think between us, if the Munster fans got together and spent a bit of time in IMDb just to make sure everything's up to scratch, because it is fan generated, most of it. I'm sure we could do it. I might spend a bit of time trying to clean it up. I mean, back in 2006 I tried, and then fell down the rabbit hole of that was my life. I was just sitting at a computer all the time just trying to update IMDb, and it didn't always work.
They've made it harder to like add people to stuff now and all that. And like, I'm like, dude, what do you mean I can't add this person? They're literally in the credits of the show and you won't let me put them on IMDb. And screw IMDb.
Unless you sponsor the show.
We need
they don't sponsor. They're never going to sponsor because they'll probably get our names wrong anyways.
We need someone to make the Munsters fandom page. The old wikis, whatever the stupid name they gave them now.
We have it on ours. We just have to. That's a lot of work to go.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not doing it.
So that's one of those things, Tivis, where you're not working right now, so you could potentially do something like that.
Yeah, I gotta.
You have all your old notes
to write. Not all.
You have all your old notes, dude. But yeah, I shit. What were we talking about? I asked him if he had questions, and then we.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So, if you had to pick an episode of Munsters Today that you think best represents the episodes you've watched till now, or the show, what episode would you pick, and why? And the same for Munsters. So, if you had to pick an episode that you think embodied the whole series, everything that it stood for each show, what episode would that be and why?
For both series, But one episode for both, or one episode each?
One episode for both. So one episode of Munsters Today that you think embodies everything about Munsters Today. What would that episode be? And then the same for Munsters.
Oh, that's a good one, man. And I would love to hear other people's, if you're out there listening and stuff, their responses. But I would say for the Munsters Today, since it's the most current in my mind, Once in a Blue Moon for the Munsters Today.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that is so good.
It shows the family as themselves, but it shows Grandpa's compassion towards his daughter, while also his humiliation, I would say, too, at the same time, from his wife leaving him, and his what do you want to say? Like his loyalty to his wife too, because he hasn't been with anyone else during this whole time for 300 years or whatever. Being married to her, his loyalty is just perfect. So showing Grandpa's character as the best character there is, while also showing the family in like their spots that they have too. But I think like showing Grandpa how he is as the best version of Grandpa helps emulate the entire show. For every little joke or remark he makes against everybody, you're like, okay, this, at least we know the better version of Grandpa, and we can put this all in context as to where he's coming from. When he tells Herman, you're being a stupid bad husband or something, you know, it's because he knows what a great husband is. When he tells Herman he's not being a great father, it's because he knows what a great father he was to Lily when his wife left him to take care of his kids. So I think that would be the best one for Munsters Today. So
what about you, Tivis, for Munsters Today? What would be your episode?
I'm going to go with Murder in Munsterland, because I think that shows. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I thought you said, yeah, Murder in Munsterland, because we got the new neighbors coming in, the families, just having fun, being themselves, being creepy because they neglect to inform, or I forget what happens. I think something eats, I think their dog ate the rules to actually let the neighbors know this was a murder mystery game. And you get the whole family, they're having fun together. You get the people being introduced to the family for the first time. It's just a nice little ease in with just family fun.
It was good, that episode. And Hillary was great in that episode, like with the lobotomy scar and the whole coming up from the basement thing. It showed that the actors have such diverse abilities outside of the roles. And again, John Shuck, he loves playing with different accents and playing it for laughs, being the kind of like Irish cop. And the sort of silliness of Herman going, "Oh, I'm a cop," and then and off he goes. It was so funny. I think it's just really great actors, and there's a great rapport that comes from those actors on screen. Because remember, this wasn't like the original Munsters. You guys will know, like when it was filmed. Okay, that's a take. Like, let's do another close up or another shot. This was like a live theatre show every night, recorded. A different episode to put together. So that was, live in front of a studio audience. So it was almost like a stage play. Even the way they'd done the special effects with, Grandpa as a bat. They would have Howard hiding behind the wall, then so that the audience would see it as we see on screen. That's a really cool way to think about it being produced, and something that not a lot of people, when they compare Munsters to Munsters Today, really take on board, is that these actors were off script, big scenes of dialogue, all together with very little cuts, just to make sure that it happened. So yeah, good answers, guys. What about the Munsters? What episodes from the original show would you say you guys have?
Well, I think a lot of people would say Family Portrait or whatever that was called. I would go with Herman the Great, where he's the wrestler. Ooh. But yeah, no, Herman the Great, I think it would be the better one to emulate to show off the entire premise of the show. It's Herman and Grandpa and their goofiness, their antics, whatever. Herman's love with his wife. You get to see a lot of that in there, especially with him becoming the wrestler, and then you get to see Herman's strength. We really You really see his strength in this one. You see the carefreeness the family has when the whole place just burns down. The whole arena just burns. No one cares. They just make jokes about it. So you get a little dark humor too within that. But then you also get the love that Herman has for Eddie, because he's literally only doing this for Eddie's future. Like he wants to have a better education and give him a better life for Eddie himself. I don't remember a whole lot of what Marilyn did in that episode. I think she was just like a side character in it, but it's still, yeah. I think that would be my episode that encapsulates. Yeah, whatever.
I'm gonna
the
go
whole
with,
show. So
I'm gonna go with Herman the Master Spy. Because one, we had Herman getting into trouble just on accident. We got Grandpa doing his magic and stuff, trying to locate him. Lily, what has happened to him now? Yeah. Eddie's Eddie doesn't really have much of a role in there. And again, Marilyn it's got the whole family present, especially on the opening scene with the beach. That I think is really good.
Yeah.
Didn't Marilyn end up having like a boy interest or something in that episode?
In that one, I don't believe.
Don't recall. She was just in a bathing suit. I think that's all her premise was for that episode for the 60s. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
That's a good one.
Episodes, guys. Good episodes.
Yeah.
And can I ask a very controversial question?
Don't ask Tivis. He doesn't like controversy.
Well, I have to ask Tivis this first because it's been something that's been on my mind. Tivis, do you have a favourite Marilyn? From all the Marilyns that have been, is there one particular scene that stands out from that Marilyn?
It was it was Munster's Revenge. I'll be honest with you.
Is that the psychologically abused Marilyn? No,
that's Munsters Go Home.
Joe O'Donnell, would that be? I think
Joe McDonald. Yeah. She was probably, even with Munsters Today, the most assertive version of the character. She was a go-getter. She had fun with the whole thing. Dressing up as the witch during the costumes. So it was that, but I will say the Munsters Today, she's really giving her a run for her money, especially that early on in the first season when she wants to run away.
When she's there.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah, that one is probably the scene with Marilyn that sticks out the most to me.
Yeah, it's funny. They noticed she was missing in that episode, but no other episodes.
I know. She's been gone for weeks.
And then the fact that her boyfriend is supposedly living right next door kind of makes sure the girl is in the house sometimes, guys.
Yeah.
Well, remember, they're gone. They got new neighbors. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I know, Tivis, you were like, yes, celebrate because Dee Dee's gone. But I was actually so gutted that we didn't see the family again in season 2 because those characters were supposed to be mainstays of the show.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen more progress with them, but
I feel like if they would have stayed, then like as he says, it tries to get a little more Married with Children like in season 3. If they would have stayed, that really just would have been Married with Children at that point. For sure.
That's fair.
Yeah. Same question for me or no?
Yes, Mike. Do you have a favorite Marilyn and why?
So I have a favorite Marilyn, and people are gonna hate my reasoning why. It's from the Here Come the Munsters, and it's Christine Taylor. I like the actress, but not only was she Marilyn, but she was Marilyn Hyde, setting up that she was related to Jekyll and Hyde. Which is also is pretty cool, but the reason I also pick it is because she's Marilyn, but she's also Marsha Brady in the Brady Bunch movies.
She is, and she was fantastic as Marsha. Those movies were just amazing. The way they captured the the essence of the original show, but
Yeah.
made it more comedic and more funny.
Yep.
They were great.
But I thought in that movie, to be honest, of all the movies that did the Munsters, Here Come the Munsters, I feel is the best iteration of the Munsters since the 60s. As setting up the family of who they are. Not necessarily the best cast by any means. I mean, yeah, like you had Edward Herman as Herman Munster. He was great. Why not? Richie Rich's dad, you know, like it's one of those things. Like, but like that movie to me was probably my favorite Munsters movie as a variation of the Munster family, just because they kept it real, they kept it family friendly, and they kept in a lot of the archetypes of, you know, the Munsters are new family to this country. They're the foreigners, you know, and in the 60s they were supposed to be like the archetype of like people look different, so we gotta treat them differently, and then in this they did that, and literally the only people that are nice to them in that movie are like minority groups or foreigners or things like that already that are in the States. So I really thought that that was a good interpretation of the Munsters for sure. I didn't like the house. I thought they could have done better for the house, but yeah.
I mean, the house was available at the time and it had been redone up. So
yeah,
I'm like, why didn't you just film the exterior? Or at least,
but
you know,
I guess
pick a house that looks similar.
I guess technically, if they would have done another one, they later on could have moved into a different house, because this was supposed to be Marilyn's house here in that movie. So it was the Hyde house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that she's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was good. Christine Taylor was a good one. Yeah. And
not only
a question I've got for you guys as well.
Okay.
Is there one character that's done something that you totally disagree with them doing or saying, or what's been a Munster dick move that you're just like, nah, that the character wouldn't have done that or said that?
Oh, we saw it a lot in season 2 of the original Munsters at the end.
Mr. Gateman, when he came back for when Eddie had to play the was it the saxophone for him? Like, we went from him being a family friend, you know, he loves them. Herman thinks of him as a father, to being a total a-hole from that point on for the rest of the show for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is a good one. That annoyed me because I was like, oh, come on, such a good character, and they took him down this nasty route, because he was like Herman's second father, and you know, really close to all the family, and you know, thought so much of Herman. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Myke? Something?
I'm not even sure, dude. Like, that's a tough one, because he already took that character. That was a good one right there.
Well, there was another one that I had in mind, but I
go ahead, dude.
Can't remember the name of the title of the episode. That episode at the end of season 1, I forget which one it is, but where all the characters are just completely different for no reason.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the name of that episode, but it was why.
Mine would have to be both Lily and Herman in the episode for that they're trying to make money for their anniversary. They're both
the 100th anniversary.
Yeah, they're literally both trying to make more money so they can get each other something nice, but in doing so they're also semi like cheating, flirting with somebody else because they don't know it's each other. You know, some people will go and say, well, love brought them together because they were ultimately bound together, so no matter what, even without seeing each other, they were like attracted to each other. I'm like, yeah, but
yes,
they didn't know that bullshit. Like, I was like, there's no way, because they're still like hitting on each other for no reason. Like,
and that's just not Munsters. Munsters is about love and respect and family. That's not, you know, oh, come on, Herman, so disappointed. Really?
And that was like a big turn off for that episode, because I'm like, I don't think he would have done that. You know?
No, and then it was all forgiven at the end. I'm like, oh, you guys need therapy.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And you know, funny you mentioned that, Tivis. There's an episode coming up in season 3. I won't tell you which episode because it'll give away too much of that arc, but the Munsters go to therapy, and it is one of the funniest episodes ever because Grandpa's Past comes out. Things he'd done during college, and it's so funny. And poor Marilyn's just sitting there like, "This is my family." Wow.
Yeah.
More Stanley story, or not Stanley Leonard? No, I was right. Stanley.
No, Leonard's the skeleton.
Leonard the skeleton. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no more Leonard as far as I know directly, but there are some more anecdotes about his life. And
I was hoping you said more college stories of him. I'm like, oh, him and Leonard getting in trouble.
Right. Well, that's awesome, dude. Do you have any others like that, or no?
I did have one more question, but I've forgotten what it was now, and I've been wanting to ask this for weeks. I should have written these down. Oh, what was it? Oh, yeah. What is your most Munsters laugh-out moment? And it doesn't matter how many times you see it. You just laugh your socks off when you see it.
I got this one right off the bat.
Okay.
Go for it, Tivis.
I went first last time. You go ahead.
Mine is stupid because it's also during a heartfelt moment as well. Like a deep moment. It's everything when Leonard is dying. Like the whole time. I'm just
Shots
like
fired. Poor Leonard.
I'm just like, why the hell are we doing x-rays on a skeleton? You see him. You see everything about him. And then I'm like, those freaking pads, why are we hitting him with a hammer? You're literally breaking his sternum. Why is this happening? I'm like, I know it's supposed to be like a really deep and like heartfelt episode, and it is. It's a good episode. But at the same time, I'm just like, I laugh my ass off about it. I'm just like, I can't even. I have another one, but I'll let Tivis go.
Hands down, the driver's test with the old man in the original show.
Good that's so funny.
Good one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that scene so much.
Yeah, that's an awesome one.
He's the town clerk, the fireman, the mayor.
Yeah, he's everything in the town.
He sells bait.
And you know those types of towns are out there. We've just not found them yet. They are out there.
Yeah. I have family that live in.
Yeah.
But funny enough, you're talking about that episode. The Munster coach obviously featured really heavily in that episode. It's coming up in season 3 of Munsters today. The Munster coach finally makes it onto screen.
Okay,
and it's
cool.
Beautiful. It is
Spoilers.
A beautiful car. It is a beautiful car because it's always been referenced and mentioned, and we've taken the hearse out, taking the coach out, but it actually makes it onto screen and a really funny but weird episode. There's lots coming up you guys will like. There'll be things you don't. Yeah. Because things were a bit crazy. There was obviously the strikes that affected who was on the show, but there's so much coming up for you guys to enjoy, and I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes from you as you go along.
Awesome, man.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you hanging out with us for episode 100, dude. Like I said, this is a 2-parter for sure, but like we definitely appreciate you coming on and stuff. We were like, we're doing 100 episodes, like we need to have Frank on. Like he's gonna be good for us for conversation. We knew you'd ask us questions, so
your anecdotes alone are so like I've always riveted whenever you tell a story.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm just so glad to be here, guys, and please keep up the good work. From all of the fans, we love you guys so much. We love the show. Keep it up and keep entertaining us and keep informing us about the Munsters. And I shall be tuning into the next episode. I'll be waiting and ready at the water cooler to talk to all my co-workers about it, making sure I'm the first one to tell them about it. Because that's how it started off. I was the one telling everyone, hey, I know these guys from the US and they do this awesome cast about the Munsters, so you need to check it out. Now they're all fans and they're telling me, and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. Dude, I love the fact that we are in a day and age now where we can discuss these things, like two just random guys from the States can discuss this stuff, but we can put it on a platform where everybody in the world can, depending on what country you're in, because some of them block certain things from the internet, but most people in the world have access to it and can hear about it and stuff. So it's really cool because then we get to meet cool people like you. Like we met you, we were doing the show, but then we met you through social media and all that fun stuff too. So it's an awesome thing to experience as, just I know a lot of people probably say that nowadays. Oh, the internet has connected the world, even though I feel that a lot of times it disconnects us, but it does reconnect us in other ways as well. So I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate all the fans out there who've stuck with us through 100 episodes, 100.5 episodes.
More than that when you include some of the other extra stuff we did. But
yeah. So
as I said last one, if you were here from the start, you started anywhere in the middle, we appreciate you.
Yeah, guys, we definitely appreciate everyone. And I'm sure we'll say something in our outro later about it and everything. So definitely, and we appreciate you on here, Frank, because this is about you right now. So definitely thank you for coming. And we appreciate the gifts and stuff too, bud. And I hope you enjoy the shirt and everything like that. I didn't know what size you were, so I just went with a generic.
You got it perfectly.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so that's an awesome shirt, bud. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Awesome.
So sweet. And I wasn't sure. I was like, is he gonna wear white? Let's just do white because it looks like a good color with everything. So yeah. White shirt, guys. That's what I'm talking about.
Wear it tonight. I'm wearing this tonight as I go out, so don't you worry.
Awesome.
Promotion.
Man.
Turn me into a walking billboard.
It's kind of the point. No. But yeah, no, I found that picture of you and I was just like, let's do it. I'm just gonna do it for him because you were so good on our 2-year anniversary episode. So we appreciated that as well, bud. But yeah, keep in contact, and when I message you, you can respond back to me. You don't have to just talk to Tivis on social media. But
oh no, have I ignored the message? Oh, I'm so sorry. You know,
I always tell Tivis, I'm just like, you gotta have to say something to him.
We got a lot of Power Rangers stuff that we are, we gotta get it off our chest.
I'm going to just make sure, because like I've got an assistant that goes through certain things that come through Facebook. I'm going to make sure that you're not on a list that, you know, some people that shouldn't be contacting me are on.
Right.
My dad was on the list, and I was like, yeah, please take my dad off the list. He should be on the list of okay people. Please make sure that happens.
Right, bud.
You're not in the bad list, Mike, so don't worry.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you again, man, and thank you for coming on, celebrating 100 episodes with us, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, man. You have a great day. All right, bye.
See you later, guys. Have a good one.
Later, man.
See you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for checking out our final part, episode 100, part 2 of our 100th episode series, guys. We really much appreciated Frank coming on. Thank you again, Frank, for showing up, and thank all of you guys for tuning in this week. What did you think, dude? Like, any final thoughts on everything that we went through?
Always a blast having Frank on. His anecdotes and behind the scenes knowledge is unparalleled for Munsters today, and I'm so happy he's willing to come on and share it with us. And all of our listeners.
Definitely. And anything that we did discuss in there, guys, that wasn't like determined right away, we will let you guys know moving forward how things work out and all that fun stuff too. We really appreciate Frank coming on when he does, and like Tivis said, he shares insight that we just don't have. Frank is able to talk to a lot more people within the Munsters industry throughout his life, because he's been a fan since he was a little child of the Munsters today. So it's definitely some cool insight that we get from him, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's it, dude. Do you got anything else that you want to talk about?
Eagle-eyed watchers, if you notice something strange with my beard, don't worry about it.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, with that said, we will catch y'all next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. You can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character.
One. All right.
Why did you clap?
Why not?
Don't ever-
You can stick it up.
No, you never clap.
I clap now.
Don't ever clap. Oh my goodness. Ruining everything. Nope, I already turned it off, so you can't clap in my ear.
The behind the scenes of the Munster Cast. Feel really privileged I'm here to see this.